Good afternoon. Welcome to KCL Tech Tip Tuesday. I'm Kevin Coachman. Today we're going to talk about the group tab or group screen in KCL. Thanks for joining us live or watching on our YouTube channel. We're going to start with how to access KCL or how to download the latest version. Go to kclcad.com, click on Access KCL. Scroll down a little bit to the BIMCAD Designer. Download the software. If you're new to KCL, you have some quick start instructions. Otherwise, you go right for the install wizard. I'll open that up. In my case, I already have KCL, so I'm going to choose modify. Normally you choose install. KCL will figure out what versions of Revit you have. It'll install for Napkin, Sketch, AutoCAD, or Revit. We recommend using the current user location. And then you can choose your folder, but current user is going to be safer for future updates. And when you're done, you have the KCL BIMCAD Designer application. So why do we want to use groups? Well, groups allow you to work with multiple items. So instead of just sending one item at a time to AutoCAD or Revit, you can send multiple items. It may be easier to edit a group of items when you're reviewing utility information rather than one at a time. You can convert to front views or 3D views from a floor plan. You can even go from CAD to KCL to Revit or Napkin Sketch to KCL to Revit using the Group tab. Groups can be used by individuals or they can be used by the company. You have the ability to keep your groups private to everyone else in your company or share with your company. And there is no limit to the number of groups you have, and it is stored in your company private cloud, of which we do have other webinars about company private cloud and adding data. So let's take a look from the main screen here, how we can get items into a group. And as I said, we'll just go through a couple of examples. So we just added a new manufacturer, Spaceman USA. If I want to send to AutoCAD, I'd hit the A for AutoCAD. If I want R for Revit, N for Napkin Sketch, and then we have a G for group. Now, depending on which view you click the G from, that will be your default view. So if I hit G here, my default view plan has been added to the group. I can also do a front view at the same time. So one example is, let me add the front view to a group. If I go over to my group, that's just temporary here. I can see the two items. I can select them both, Control A, Control key, and then say send to CAD. I can override my views. I'm going to say default view, okay, for two items. You'll see here now I'm going to place my plan view. If I have balloons on, I'll get a balloon, and then I get my front view. So instead of having to go back and forth to KCL catalog tab, I can add items to a group that I can then send to CAD or Revit. Again, you have your R for Revit and for Napkin as well. So the group screen has some other options, but the basic version is, hey, add some items, make a group, what do you want to do with it? We do have companies that will actually create an entire group of the project first, and they'll build schedules. You can import from auto quotes, lots of ways to get there. So we're going to do another group. This case, I go to saved groups. I'm going to import from auto quotes. Here's a test file I have. Try that again. Import from AQ. Hit the right file. I said test to instead of test from. KCL will attempt to match to our database, match to your user database, and give you a list. In this case, there's 130 items. A red item has no extra data other than the item number quantity that we have here. If it's blacklisted, I can see my CAD and Revit that are available. This one happened to have a lot of Perlick items, so you're seeing Perlick here. But I can take these, select as many as I want, as few as I want, and say send to CAD or send to Revit. So let's take these two items, and this time we'll say send to Revit. And as long as I have Revit running, it's downloading the first item, and it will allow me to place it in Revit. Once I get this one done, when I hit escape to get out, it says, hey, you've got another one coming. Again, it saves you the back and forth of picking items. So the group screen, you can send multiple to AutoCAD or to Revit. When you load it from AQ, you do have the ability to modify information as well. So if I went into this item and click edit, backspace up one character to see what I've got in case it says, well, do you want the L, the LD, or the R? Because for the CAD blocks, we need to know the specific one. If I know it's an L, I select it. It now gives me the CAD and Revit. So even if things don't match, you have the ability when you're importing from AQ to do some cleanup. If it truly is an unmatched item, that's okay. You're going to just have the product spec. You can still get a balloon out of it. There's information there, and that information can be used. You can also edit items. You can attach your own AutoCAD blocks in here to the group. It's just temporary for this group, but I can link AutoCAD files. I can edit electric, plumbing. So I have access to the base data. When I'm here and I've edited my items, I can generate a schedule or a spec book. So I can take this entire group and say, let's run a schedule. We'll do electrical. We'll output to AutoCAD, Excel, napkin, sketch, a drawing. I'm going to go to Excel. And I was able to go from AQ to KCL, edit the information, and get a nice looking utility schedule. I have some filters on, so it's not showing all the information right now. But that's the beauty, is you have access to all of the KCL tools. Here was skip row, repeat item number. So if I said, hey, don't skip anything, do it again. Give it a name. This Excel schedule is a bit longer because it's including items that did not have utility information. And you can see here, I also have some list pricing. So you can do a lot without AutoCAD, Revit, or Napkin Sketch in KCL on this group screen. So we have add items from the catalog by clicking the G to build your own groups. We have the ability to import from AQ or other KCL output, and even from Napkin Sketch. So if you have salespeople who use Napkin Sketch, they can save a KCL group. It's now in your private cloud, and someone could use that to find out what files you want to use for Revit, or run schedules or spec books. Let's close this group. We don't need to save it. One other way you can create a group is from a drawing. So if I import from the drawing, I can choose entire drawing to get everything. I'm going to choose balloons because I just want to take my drawing here. And I'm going to turn this into a group. So I did not have to pick individual balloons. Now KCL will try to map everything from the drawing into the database, whether it's a system file or user file. Again, black will have matches. Red is kind of your, hey, here's a warning, we don't have that exact configuration or model number. That's okay. I can take these items on the group screen. If I took let's just take 2, 3, and 4. I can right click. We can edit, delete, move things up and down. I'm going to choose add prefix. Say I want to add a K prefix to these numbers. I can now take those items and update my balloons. 3 of 3, kind of got a window here. You can see here K3, K4, and K2. So we can change the data pretty quickly from the group. It's linked here. Again, some of our users like the group screen because when I go to edit, I can say I want to work on electrical and then go to the next item and the next item. I don't have to keep going back and forth to the list, scrolling up and down. I can just work on my electrical. So there's different editing tools than our standard edit balloon command. Once we have the group, whether it's built manually, import from AQ, XML, the drawing, again, we have our generate schedule, spec book, we have which other webinars about schedules and spec books. You can export this to KCL XML. You can export back to AQ from a group. So if you had built a group, want to try to quote it out, you can export to AQ as well. It's all one circle, just depends on where you want to start, whether you want to start with your design or your quote and work your way all the way back to the beginning. So the group screen really simply allows you to work with multiple items. That's it. Whether it's AutoCAD, Revit, Napkin Sketch, whether it's for schedules, spec books, multiple items. If I were to build, let me close this group. You could have multiples open. I just try to keep it clean. Import from the drawing. Balloons. Again, I don't need to pick the items. I'm just going to window, and I can window multiple groups if I want, but I just want those 5 items. One other little trick is the ability to take these items, send them back to AutoCAD as a different view. So I go to send to CAD and change to the front view. Now I'm going to get elevation views. So I don't have to go back to KCL and select all the items. I can go and get my elevations, and I'm just going to place them somewhere where I want them to go, and then I can put them together when I'm done. So we're able to take your plan view and convert them to front views or 3D views and then send them back to the same drawing or a different drawing, depending on what you're working on. So that's kind of a cool feature. Import your group, send the views you want. Again, the group screen has the ability to edit, whether it's the number, the quantity, the schedule name. Right-click menu has special copy commands. This is for, I'm going to say, some of the advanced users where you can tell it to copy certain fields to all items, other items, selected items. It's just a better way to work on editing your data rather than have to zoom around the drawing, find the items you need, and make the changes. I like to end these webinars with a couple little extra notes. If you need to contact us, simply hit contact us. What type of subject? Type in your own. We can set up private webinars. If you like to customize the webinar, what do you want to talk about for your team? We can do that. We can spend 30 minutes, 60 minutes. Send us a note. We can set up a webinar. If you've got a bug, a wish list, use that. If you like webinars like today or on our YouTube channel, you can hit our YouTube button in the upper right corner of KCL, and it shows you the last few videos, webinars that we've done. Hit the video button. I can go back a little bit deeper, like we talked about private cloud, layer mapping, balloons and schedule. So it's all available here. Make sure if you're watching on our YouTube channel that you do click the subscribe button That way you'll be notified when we post updated and new videos. Thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate it.